Hello and welcome back to the Footy Corner. This is the Premier League review show. We're welcoming back Isa. She was on the last show. How are we doing?
All right, better after yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you've done a bit of a double header today as well, haven't you?
Yeah, I was over on Sophie's channel, so Guna Gossip TV. Go and check it out if you aren't subscribed. It's a lot of fun, actually. She's really nice. It's kind of nice just to be able to go on and talk to lots of different people because you get lots of different opinions. And thing is, I'm one of these people. I never mind admitting when I'm wrong. So if someone gives me a really, really good idea, I go, "Oh, do you know what? You're right about that player or that game or stuff like that." And I think it's nice because you do get to sort of see different people's perspectives of things.
Yeah, cool. You've got a YouTube channel as well. If you want to give that a little plug while we're at it.
Yep. If you go over to We'll Sing It in the North Bank, this stream is also linked over there as well. So if you click over there, you'll be able to subscribe. I think I'm too short away from 50 now, which I'm excited about.
Okay, soon be allowed to be ready for the lives then.
Yep. So that'll be really cool. I don't know how that works though, because I'm streaming lives now, but I'm not doing my own ones. But
You're kind of a host. I'm a host. You're kind of, or in a possible way, a guest. So it's more like a tag on to it sort of thing. So
I tell you what, it gets a lot of views though when you stream to X. That gets a lot of views when you stream to X. I never really explored that before.
Yeah, you have to be subscribed to their platform to do that, though. You have to have the blue tick now.
Oh, they've changed it all.
Yeah. So they've made the purpose of the blue tick, being that you can actually stream live. So I think it's like I think it's $9.50 a month or something. So it's not too bad.
No, because some of these platforms, I mean, I was using StreamYards, but now I'm looking at using other ones because they went from originally when I first got it, they were like $9. Then they went up to $20, and now they're going up to $49.99 a month.
Wow. I think we're on Restream. I think it's like $20 a month, so it's pretty good.
It's actually a nice layout. This one, to be honest.
Yeah, not too bad at all. So it's totally. You managed to link your YouTube to it as well, so I didn't even know that had happened. So yeah, fair play with that.
I should probably ask permission first, should I?
You didn't need permission. In fact, we did discuss it anyway.
Oh yeah, probably. You know what I'm like with these messages. I'm like, where am I going now? I don't.
I didn't even realize you were in another stream. Otherwise, I'd have been a bit more, directive, if you like.
Yeah, I was a bit like, okay, I know I've got to be somewhere at 8:30. Where is it?
I had to be quick as well before somebody else jumped on. If anybody else was, because it's a bit of a group, isn't it? So, John was on there and he was changing the routine of his show. So I was like, nope, getting in that quick. Otherwise, I'll be doing it on my own. But there we go. Guys, if you're watching the channel, please make sure you're liking and subscribing. Drop some comments in there. Any chat we'll put up on the display because I try and remember not to forget to do it this time. It's always a standard thing that there's always plenty to do. So I always forget to do something. There we go. Did you see much of the football apart from the Arsenal game over the weekend?
Bits and pieces of the Southampton Man United game. What else did I see? I saw bits and pieces of the Crystal Palace, the Liverpool, the Man City, obviously the Spurs and Arsenal one. And I did watch the Newcastle one. So quite a bit, actually.
Fair. That's actually more than last week anyway. So, fair enough. What did you think of the Southampton Man United one?
Every time I watch Southampton lose, I just think, what did you do? Ramsdale is kind of where I'm. But the problem is, right, I've heard people say that's the reason why we sold him because he can't keep a clean sheet, which is crap. Like, that's rubbish. But also, when you are the best player on a team and you're the goalkeeper that's letting in the goals, it kind of says something. Because I'll be honest, I don't quite think Ramsdale knew what he was getting himself into when he went there. And I think, sadly, it's not his fault because their defence is awful. But that's just my opinion.
It's very similar to the Sheffield United where he came from, isn't it? Really, where he's gone back to Southampton. He's gone over to Southampton there, and he's going to be in a relegation fight, isn't he? At the end of the day, it doesn't matter how many saves he pulls off. I don't think he covered himself in glory, to be honest, but he hasn't played for a year, so
yeah, that is also true.
hardly surprising, really. But the thing is, as well, the more shots you face, the more you got to save. So at the end of the day, you're going to look worse anyway. If you're in an Arsenal side that's conceding, I don't know, 10 shots in a game, and they're going to concede 20 shots in a game, you're going to look worse, aren't you? So at the end of the day, but all the grief that I saw basically Arsenal fans giving him, they need a bit of reality check. In the fact that he doesn't play for us anymore. You don't have to give him pelters. Just watch. Wish him luck, and watch him, and that's kind of it.
The rumour I heard about a week ago, it's obviously not true because I think we definitely now would have seen more of it, was that he had a 21-day cooling off period on this contract and he could come back if he wanted to.
I don't see why we'd do that.
Well,
why would he got Neto if that was the case?
Well, yeah, exactly. Isn't he only on a loan though?
He is only on a year-long loan, yes, and he is cup tied. But it doesn't mean we can break the loan. We can't send him back, so he'll still be tied to his wages.
Yeah, I don't think it was true. I mean, it was a nice thing to read, thinking that we could have him back. But then again, he's going to put himself in the same situation. Unless Ryan is injured, what's he going to do? I mean,
the thing is that if he couldn't have the concentration over a 90-minute period, how is he going to concentrate when he's benched for a year? Do you know what I mean? So you're like, well, you need more concentration if you're not playing. Truly. Yeah. So you're basically holding yourself together if you're called upon.
It's no way to play if you're a professional, is it? No. Especially if you're one that wants to play. And he does want to play.
Yeah, of course he does. He wants to try and get the England shirt back. So, you know, obviously the consistency is the only way he's going to do that. So I think the move was right for everybody. I think we got a reasonable amount of money for him. We didn't really make a profit on him, but it kind of is what it is. But yeah, good luck to him as far as I'm concerned, and I'm not going to give him any penalties or anything like that. It's is what it is. He will have a worldie when we play him, but you know, yeah, that's just standard when you go up against the next player, isn't it? What did you think about the actual game itself?
I thought, to be honest, it was pretty easy for Man United, to be honest with you. I don't really remember anything standing out about it. I mean, like I say, I was watching it on and off because we were getting ready to go out, but it didn't even look like Man United, to be honest. It was just a bit flat, even though the scoreline reads more than that. I don't know what you thought, but
yeah. I thought the first 20 minutes or so, I thought Southampton were really in it, and maybe even half an hour, a bit longer, possibly. They probably should have scored, maybe even scored a couple of times, and then they missed the penalty. I think it was the worst penalty I've seen for a while, to be fair. And
oh yeah, no, now that rings a bell. No, I remember because we were talking about it in the WhatsApp chat, and then there was like, how did they miss that penalty? And yeah, I remember now. Yeah, because
it was a shocking penalty.
And then they went 2-1 up in like a matter of minutes after, didn't they?
Yeah, 2-0.
Yeah. Yeah, and like you say, it was the first 20 minutes, then it just all went a bit blur.
Yeah, it was all Man United. They scored the goal quite soon after, to be fair, and then the second one came, and then they just basically controlled the game. So it looked like a reasonable performance after that. So it was a bit more like Man United, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not saying he got it right tactically. I think for the first 20 odd minutes, he wasn't great. Rashford got on the score sheet for them, so that's always good for them. Yeah, he was getting pelters as well. So yeah, it's always nice to shut up haters. So
well, that is very true.
but yeah, I mean, yeah, I think the 3-0 by in the end, Garnacho scoring in the 96th minute, I think, was kind of a fair result in the end.
That's quite. What's that? That's 3-0 losses for them, isn't it?
I think it is, isn't it?
They've their goal difference is like 17, I think now. I don't think they're on any points.
No, no, I don't think they haven't got any points. No. So yeah, I think they're going to go down. Unfortunately, I don't see there's anywhere back. I think will be a clause in Ramsdale's contract that says if they get relegated, he gets sold. I'm sure that will be a case, but obviously where he goes would be,
Yeah,
be up to him, I guess.
it did feel a bit silly though, getting rid of Ramsdale for a goalkeeper that's 34 and cup tied. I have to be honest, that was a bit of a weird.
I mean, the cup tied thing is definitely an issue because the time that we want Raya to be rested is in the cups, isn't it? So yeah, I'm not really sure about that. The 34
tied till September, is that right? Or is it for the whole competition?
I think it's the whole competition. I don't think you're once you've played in it. I don't think there's anything you could do. But that competition ends in February, is it?
Which one is he cup tied against?
I think League Cup.
Oh, the League Cup. Okay, fair enough. So he can still get a good round of the FA Cup then.
Whichever one it is, yeah. I can't remember exactly. I wouldn't. I'd have to look it up. Yeah, I wouldn't profess to know exactly, but I know he's cup tied in one of them. I don't think they carry over. I think you've got to be tied in both of them. But yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, it must be the League Cup because the FA Cup hasn't started properly yet, has it?
No.
Brighton Ipswich was a bit of a shocker for me, to be honest. That it finished 0-0.
Yeah, that was a bit of a surprise for me, that one, especially with the fact of Ipswich is struggling and Brighton are all right, fair enough what they did to us, but I would still say they're a pretty decent side that I wouldn't expect them to walk away 0-0 from Ipswich. It was just one of them games, wasn't it? Nothing was going in.
No, yeah, and they didn't have Pedro, did they, Brighton? So yeah, maybe that hurt them a bit more. But yeah, we'll just brush through these ones. I'm going to get to our game, and then we can do a bit of the European games as well. Crystal Palace Leicester. I had this down as a Crystal Palace win. Did that shock you at all?
Didn't Leicester go 2-0 up?
Yeah.
Yeah. I will be honest with you. I think if they played for another 5-10 minutes, it would have been 3-2 to Palace.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I don't think Palace should have gone behind anyway. I think they're yeah, they're a bit sloppy to start off with. Let's go with.
Yeah, there was definitely questions about their defence. I think that's definitely going to be a conversation that will be had at full time with them.
Yeah, I would have thought so. Yeah, Fulham West Ham was a 1-1 as well. That was I predicted a 2-2. So
yeah, I predicted a draw as well.
Yeah, so it didn't really surprise me too much. Didn't really watch too much of that. I saw a bit of the highlights. Didn't look like a quite drab affair. I think Smith Rowe got an assist, I believe, in that one.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. Because my husband was saying to me at the weekend, two of our players he went to me, guess what 2 players either scored or assisted? And I went, Nketiah and Smith Rowe. He went, there you go. I was like, what a surprise. Because actually, the more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm wishing we didn't sell Smith Rowe. It's all right, people saying he's, we're going in a different direction. He wasn't strong enough, this, that, and the other. But you know what? I don't think we gave him the chance to develop. There were so many moments of wonderment from him that you saw in training. you saw on the All or Nothing series on Amazon, and he played beautifully with Saka. And I don't think it was explored. I don't think what Arteta did set his. There was a very tunnel vision thing of this is where I'm going, and I don't think Smith Rowe was on the plan. And that
Do you think Nwaneri has had anything to do with that?
Yeah, I do, because I think he's younger. I think he's Smith Rowe's more stoic, reserved.
It's a bit more mobile and a bit more aggressive.
I think. Definitely. You saw him the other day. He didn't care who he.
Yeah, he wasn't bothered, was he?
He wasn't bothered about coming up against Song and any of the other Tottenham players. In fact,
turning in the middle of the park and everything. He was just like, "Yeah, I don't care who you are, mate."
No, his control of the ball was incredible.
Yeah, he controlled it into space as well, which I thought was quite clever.
Intelligent player. He's a very and actually I can see, and I think I'm not claiming to know Arteta's mind, but one thing I've always loved about Saka, we saw it at the weekend as well. I know we're going to talk about this later, but that he reads the game incredibly well. So whenever you saw it, there were players that were taking either free kicks or corners for Spurs. He wasn't in the box trying to get involved in it. He was actually on the outskirts. He was waiting for the deflection. He was waiting for the ball to come back. He's a very clever player, which is a kind of a contradiction to how I feel about Saka a lot of the time, because he's a very clever player, reads the game, but he's also equally predictable when he gets on the ball. And I think him and Nwari are going to work very, very well, because he's got that passion and that fire and the not giving a shit attitude that I think Smith Rowe was lacking. And I think that's the only real thing. I just feel like at the moment, until he's really proved a bit more to me, I still think the Sterling deal was a no-brainer. But there is also part of me that says, why didn't we keep Smith Rowe and go for the Sterling deal when the Sterling deal hadn't actually cost us any money? Like, it just feels a bit like, I mean, I've seen him in training and I've seen him when he played for the youth team. Smith Rowe can play quite comfortably in the middle. If we had that problem with Ødegaard and Rice being out, yes, of course we had Jorginho, we had Partey, we had these other players. But just to know that we had Smith Rowe to slot in as well, I just feel like we might have cut our nose off to spite our face this early in the season. Maybe
the thing is, we have been in that situation before, and he's not been available. So that is the other problem. So, it's not as if I agree. Last season, maybe he could have given him more opportunities, but seasons gone by, I think that he's just not been available when he's needed to be called upon. So
and the other thing as well is that if he's a player that's hardly played and we're able to make 35 million from him, it's a no-brainer as well. Yeah, and he's a youth player. Like, he's come from Hale End. That is 100% profit. I get this. I just don't want us to turn into a club that's churning out these fantastic young players just for us to be able to sell them to buy a superstar.
No, I don't think we're going to do that, but I do think that there is going to be an element of that. And I think that every club nowadays, with the rules as they are, I think that's got to be the way forward, because if you're producing and turning them out like Man City are turning them out, then the income is coming in, because at the end of the day, we need that revenue. It's not like it's not like Man City where they've got twice as much revenue as we have.
No, apparently.
We need the revenue. Now, did you see the news on the new shirt sponsor?
No, what's this?
So the Fly Emirates shirt sponsorship deal is going up to 60 million plus per year, in line with Man United.
Jeez.
So yeah, I don't know if that's including the naming rights, but that was on. It was Lucas that I'll give you his contact, because you can follow him and he gives you the insights and such like as well.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, he put a tweet out basically saying that it was coming and that it was going to be 60 million plus. He didn't specify the naming rights, so I can only assume that's additional. So, but you know, if you've got a 60 million, 65 million deal, and then you've got the 10 million training ground, you got the 10 million sleeve sponsor, you know, we're starting to get in the realms of some nice little, nice income and some good revenue for purchasing players and, you know, just general revenue streams. So, yes, good riddance, Mr. Gazidis. That's all I've got to say on that little matter. Jesus.
And actually, that's another thing is that I really respect Josh Kroenke for, because he's actually stepped up, hasn't he, and taken control of the club a lot more. And I think you've seen a massive change, because when his dad was left a bit more in control, we were just a money pit for his American club.
I don't think it was just when his dad was in control. I think the board, the old board basically still pulled the strings. And I also think that the COVID, being around the COVID year, I don't think that really helped as well. So I think we'd have been a year further along if it hadn't been for the COVID. But then so would everybody, I guess, you know, at the end of the
They're so
day.
misguided, though, weren't they? They wanted to get rid of, I know this is going to sound like a really stupid little thing, but hear me out. They wanted to get rid of the Gunnosaurus, right? And yeah, we know that Ozil was the one that paid to keep the Gunnosaurus and all that whole story. But also, I was talking to a girl in the Arsenal shop last week, and she told me that apart from shirts, the Gunnosaurus is one of the other, or anything with the Gunnosaurus on, is one of the biggest selling things in the club shop. It's just revenue stream, exactly.
Yeah, but again, you know, this is how short-sighted we've been over the years. Like the board themselves, you know, held everything back under Wenger, even where it was like, oh, we're just happy with top four. We're not going to go for a title. We're not going to do that, and it's just a false economy because, you know, at the end of the day, the more you produce on the field, the more revenue you can bring into the club, and the more shares you get. I just don't understand your logic. It doesn't really make any sense.
And also, I haven't seen as many shirts, people wearing shirts, as I am now. I mean, so I'm just opening my bottle of drink. And I don't believe they're all glory hunters. I used to be like, oh, look at these bloody glory hunters out in their shirts. And then my husband said something. He's always my voice of reason, to be fair. He said to me, it's not their glory hunters, Aisha. He said, these families who've got 3 kids, when these teams aren't putting in the effort to win something, to bring glory, but they're not capping the shirt prices, they're putting them up every season. Can you say that honestly these parents are going to be able to buy 3 of these shirts for their kids when the team's not giving them anything to be proud of? And I stopped and went, you're right, because that's about 240 quid from like one set of shirts for 3 kids. And it is true. It's like I've always bought a shirt, but just because I go, and so I wear them when I go. But I do understand that mentality. You're the board who are driving around in your flash cars and in your flash houses and got all these investments, and you're happy to finish top four because it gives you a cash injection. You don't actually care about the club, that you want them to have some glory for their supporters and for the players. Because as you know, it's a cycle. When that happens, better players want to come. Better players come, we win more. You get the big name players, shirt revenue goes up because kids want them on the back of their shirts. And believe it or not, kids, people don't think this. They think of like football being stereotypically in the old days a man's sport. Now it's an adult sport. Kids monopolize so much of football and what gets bought in football. How many people, you know, they find out they're having a baby, they buy a kit for the kid, the baby grows, all this stuff, or Gunnosauruses, or it's a rites of passage to take your kid to get their first shirt, right? And all this stuff. It's not just, I mean, you've been to the Arsenal shop, there's a whole big bloody section of toys.
I don't even go in it anymore. I can't go in it anymore because I come out with so much crap.
I can't go in on match days because it's too busy.
I come out with crap. I just come out with crap. It's crap that I never even see. It'll just go in a drawer or whatever. Just crap. I've done it before. Key rings. I've done it with all sorts of just crap.
Actually, you've reminded me something I really wish they'd bring back. In one respect, in the other respects, that I used to collect them, and my God, did they fill my house every year with your memberships? You got them packs. I used to love my membership packs.
Yeah, I know. But they did it to save money like everything else, didn't they? And then made us pay for them. And then I bought one and it was the worst thing I'd ever spent any money on, so I never did it again.
The best one I think I've got is the Final Salute one, the silver tin. They had a
Yeah. That was nice. That was nice.
Well, the thing is, my mum's actually got boxes of them in her house,
Yeah.
but they're still in the brown boxes they came in, because we used to get 4 of them sent to one house and be like, well, what do you do with this then? You've sent me 4 of them. But yeah.
Yeah, well, let's do these messages very quickly. Ramsdale had to go as soon as possible.
Why? Okay. Is what I'd like to,
not good enough at all. Didn't like his attitude. Had one good season, which was his first season. I always thought his attitude was really good, to be fair.
He's really positive. Like, he was proper behind the team, and
yeah, and he always had a smile on his face, even when he wasn't playing. So I don't really understand that, to be honest.
And if I remember correctly, he was the one that took to social media and told the Arsenal fans to leave off Raya. It's not his fault he's been put in this position. He's a really nice guy and a really good goalkeeper.
Yeah, I agree with it. I agree with that. Hasn't been performing. Yeah, but he hasn't been playing, to be fair. So he needs a bit of time, I think. Spots and Ice should have got at least 35 million for him. 80 million is awful. So you're telling me he's awful and he's got to go straight away and he must go, but we need 35 million for him. It doesn't make sense, man. Wasn't good enough. Edu made a mistake for selling him 18 million. At least he got 25 million. It's 25 million. Okay. Mr. Arsenal podcast. All right, mate.
Hello,
Ryan. North London forever. Indeed, sir. Indeed.
Oh my God, you follow me on TikTok, don't you? You saw it today, right? Yeah. It was an intentional. People have been messaging me with this all day. It was an intentional mistake, right? So yesterday, I heard Tottenham fans round here shouting out before the game, "North London is blue," right? So I'm going, no, you normally, if you're a proper Tottenham fan, you say North London is white. West London is blue.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So the video that I put up, the silly video I put on TikTok with a guy talking about cocaine, it was because I was making fun of the fact that Spurs fans are so off their head. They're saying North London is blue.
Right. So okay.
It wasn't me actually I did actually do it wrong on purpose.
Yeah.
Have been messaging me going, don't you mean white? No, I actually mean blue. And then I explained it in the comments.
Yeah, I explained it properly.
But saying that, though, I woke up this morning to like 2,000 views, so I must be doing something right.
Yeah. So, Kai's saying I don't buy merch anymore. I'll start buying merch when we win trophies, and awful. I don't know what the awful relates to when it comes to trophies. Yeah, it's your choice whether you buy merch, mate. But don't complain when we haven't got enough revenue, because at the end of the day, the merch goes on the pitch. So the club can only spend what the club brings in. And that's what the merch is for. So the club, you put it in the club shop. What the profit that comes from the club shop goes straight on the pitch. Every bit of revenue or the sponsorship, whatever, goes straight on the pitch.
And this is another reason why I try to say to people, obviously, if their financial situation is not brilliant and they can't afford
it's clearly not that.
No. This is what I was about to say. But when people buy fake shirts, right, and they don't have a financial reason not to buy a real one, I say to them, you're actually ripping your own club. Like, that's the thing. It's like I always, every match, we were talking about this on the last one, I always, every match, buy a program, partly because I put them behind me on my little thing, but also partly it is because I want them. But what I also do with them every single game is once I've put them up there, I don't collect them because I have nowhere to keep them. I'm not going to recycle them because they're still something that's worth money. You're not going to be able to sell them on eBay for individual. That's a waste of money. What I do is I take them into my school. So if there are kids that, doesn't matter whether they're Arsenal supporters, Man City supporters, whoever, and it doesn't matter what, the score is, I will single out a kid that's done really well that week or has had really good exam results, behaviour's been brilliant. I will email their parents, I will get permission, and then I will bring in that program and give it to them. And I can tell you this, that £3 that I spend, that I then do that for a student at my school once I've used it for my own prop, the smile on some of their faces because they can't get tickets or they can't afford to go, or, you know, just because I want to take the poster at the middle.
People can't afford a program, let alone anything else. So, you know, some people can't afford a program, let alone anything else.
No, and you know, at the end of the day, I know to some kids that's going to mean more than giving them house points. It does. Yeah. And it's just nice. I've never had a parent say to me no. There was one boy who I got him I gave him my program when we beat Chelsea 5-0, and he was a Chelsea fan, and he still took it and he said, that's got my club on it. I still want it. I'll still keep it with the rest of the ones I've got this season. You know, he's got more balls than me, I'm not going to lie, but it was nice to be able to do that.
Yeah. Let me spin through these quickly because Kai's yeah, you talking about Ramsdale because we didn't pay 40 million for him. We paid 28 million for him. So yeah. We didn't get 25 million as well. So they're easy add-on, so it's 25 million. We're talking about Ramsdale exactly. We don't spend money. We spend the money we have. We're only allowed to spend the money we have. The owners don't put their own money in. So we're only allowed to spend the money that's that basically the club makes, which is why if you can afford merch, it's better to do so, you know, obviously through the club and everything, so that you help the club out.
But also, even if you look, I understand not everyone wants to spend money, but on the same note, you know, if I didn't buy any merch all year and I just bought my season ticket, I'm still helping the club to keep their revenue up. So, yeah. And also, what people have to understand is one of the reasons we are the way we are with money, and we have to be. Do you want us to end up with 115 charges under financial fair play? Because I don't.
No, absolutely not.
So I'd rather be sitting where we are. Thank you.
I do want to win something though, but I you know, not at that cost.
No.
Even when we spend money, we don't spend money on the right players. Who have we spent on the wrong players then?
Well, the one name I can think of, that Declan Rice.
What do you mean we spent 160 million on left backs? List that 160 million, man. Because I think you might be some figures there that don't quite make sense.
I don't think you can say that Declan Rice is a waste of money, and I think that the weekend just proved that.
It's not about spending money for me personally. I start very much when the clubs gives me some trophies. Well, it is about spending money because you've said it's about spending money.
Can I also make a point about that? We didn't smash Highbury down. We weren't allowed to. The outside of Highbury is a listed building. It actually got turned into flats, and the pitch itself is still the grass that is in the park in the middle. Yeah. That in itself was an incredibly shrewd investment, spearheaded again by Arsene Wenger, because those flats are all still owned by the Emirates. So owned by Arsenal. They are rented out by Arsenal. That is another stream of revenue. Chelsea have done the exact same thing.
Yeah. And then sold it again. But yeah, let's not go into that. Maybe we should do that with Highbury. Sell it to ourselves again. But yeah. Let's just whiz through the other fixtures so nobody's left out. Liverpool Forest. Obviously, Liverpool got beat by Forest.
That was a surprise. That was a surprise.
It was a bit of a shocking game, wasn't it, to be fair?
It was. I mean, I'm not really that worried because Hudson-Odoi is in my dream team, so I'm quite happy with that.
He was on my bench, actually. He was on my bench, and I had Pedro up front, and Pedro didn't start, so I was sweating that I was going to get. I got 7 points sat on my bench because I'd lined him up for if Haaland didn't play, because apparently Haaland wasn't going to play for whatever reason, some family reason, whatever. And I'd lined him up, and it was Pedro that didn't play. So I was like, okay, I've never been so happy that Pedro didn't play.
Also, though, I want to add, we've got a fantasy football league at school. and we allow like the year 11s, year 12s, year 13s. So basically, the last year of GCSE and all the sixth form to actually, play and participate with the teachers. And it's really funny because there's some of the that bit in Fever Pitch where they go up to him and they go, "You're going to lose the weekend, sir," and he goes, "Oh, naff off." That's basically what my everyday school life is now. But it's missed. The team is crap, and it's like one boy is like storming ahead on points, right? And he goes to me, "Your team's crap." I'm like destroying your team. I went, "Mate, you spent all your money on Haaland and built a team around him, right? Of course, with 2 hat tricks, you are going to have so many points. You also get bonus points if he's your captain, which he is, right?" And then I got my dad going to me, "Well, he's actually done a really smart thing there because good teams build around them." I was like, "Shut up, you should be on it, But do you know what though? It's created a real good atmosphere at the school because
good.
Half the kids that play that, a lot of them are not like massively academic. So the fact that they can interact with their teachers and form a bond on something that they're doing that, at the end of the day, they know that if they play up, we can kick them off the test.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's quite, I shouldn't have said that. But
indeed. Timber, Calafiori, Nuno Tavares, Tomiyasu, Cedric, that's 5. You got a proper left back in Kieran Tierney. Well, he's not playing left backs like a proper left back, is he? So
he's also got glass legs, bless him. I don't think, Tomiyasu is an incredible player when he's fit. This is one of the big problems.
Yeah,
we can't judge Calafiori. We haven't seen enough of him. And Timber, quite frankly, let's face it,
Timber and Calafiori, it looked like absolute bargains. Absolute bargains. And I even say Tomiyasu is a part of the bargain brigade as well, to be honest.
I like Tomiyasu. I just wish he could play more.
Zinchenko, again, contributed to where we are now, so I can't really complain either. Not Declan Rice. Me personally, I don't think Rice is for 105 million. Fair play to Edu. He wanted a player and he got him. That's the only credit I give him when it comes to transfers. I think you're being incredibly harsh on him, to be honest.
I've heard a lot of negativity towards Edu, but I will say one thing, right? And this is coming from somebody so my cousin is friends with a football agent. And if you know anything about what goes on behind doors on transfer deadline day, it's like watching ducks on a pond. They look like they're gliding along and they look like everything's calm and they couldn't care less. There is so much going on behind the doors. I would not be surprised if Edu didn't have his fingers in about 25 pies that night. And unfortunately, look, you're not going to be able to compete with Man City and Chelsea, even Man United to an extent, with how much money you can offer these because of the resources they're tapped into. And that's only English clubs. What about your Real Madrids, your Barcelonas, all these other clubs that are going to come in and sweep in for these players? Unfortunately, and I know what people are going to say, that's because we haven't won anything. That's crap. Because if we won the FA Cup from now until eternity, it still wouldn't be enough because all they care about is the Champions League and the Premier League. But we're not going to be able to win them if we don't keep up with the consistency where we're going to attract these players to come in. It's a vicious circle. And this is what I think a lot of people don't understand. Edu is doing the best with what he can. And I also dare anybody that's arguing with him what he's doing, the same as I used to say to people with the Wenger out brigade, the same as I say with the Arteta out brigade, you go do a week in his shoes and then say how you would be able to do it. Because I bet we wouldn't be able to.
Yeah, I'm just going to look at something actually after that comment, right? Yes. You're basically saying there that Ipswich, Fulham, and West Ham do better business than us, right? As the table stands, Ipswich are 17th, West Ham are 14th, and Fulham are 12th. As it stands, we're second. We got 10 points. We dropped 2 points at Brighton. So
we couldn't have got any single one of them players because their wages were too much. Jack Grealish, right? I was all in Jack Grealish's camp for him coming to Arsenal. But you know what? The more I read about him behind the scenes, the more I hear about the person he is, forget the player. I don't want someone like that coming in and destabilising these young players who have actually got an incredible work ethic, because he is like a player of the 80s, the way he parties and the way that he is. And I don't think that that is what we're looking for. And knowing what I've read about the likes of Saka and Wari, we've got a lot of young English-born Nigerian, Ghanaian, African players who are deeply religious and have got very strong social and family ties. And I don't imagine someone like Grealish coming in with the party ethos that he's got is actually going to be very good for what we're trying to build. I mean, that's just my opinion, but knowing what I've read about Saka alone.
Also, I would say Sterling on 100 grand a week, no fee. We're paying 100 grand a week for him. Absolutely no fee. We've got him as a basically a free contract, no signing on bonus, no nothing, and he's on 100 grand a week. Chelsea are still paying 125,000 pounds a week for him.
By the way, last week, you can check this out because it's on the internet. Last week, what we paid him was actually what we made from him through shirt sales alone.
Well, there you go as well. So, yeah, I think the Sterling deal was a very astute signing, to be fair.
I would have liked to have kept it.
Wait. Are you okay? Are you okay? Mikel Merino is an average signing. I mean, it's bad that he got injured. He's just won the Euros with Spain. He literally just won the Euros.
I feel like we should send him a link.
Right. Okay. No, I'm not doing that. I can't read anymore because we're just going around in circles, just reading your messages, to be honest. So
I think, look, the bottom line is it's all very easy for us to sit here and complain about things. But you know what? We don't know what goes on behind the scenes. We see 90 minutes of football and a load of training videos every single week. There is so much that goes on in that club we will never know. Honest to God, I think that Arteta's got a bloody hard job. I think Edu's got a bloody hard job. And my hats go off to them, and anything else you want to throw, that they have been able to take this club into what they are now, consistently second, fighting for what they're fighting for. What we have to remember is some of those games last season, the old Arsenal would have given up. It's all right, people saying that you shouldn't reward coming second. You should reward coming second when a couple of years ago we were finishing 6th and 8th, that we weren't in any European.
I agree. And all right, we haven't hit the pinnacle, but I show this again. I don't know if you've seen this, but I show this again. And this is the wage bill for like the top 10 clubs. And also way down here on 234 million, 50% of our wage bill. While Man City are on 59%, and they've got 422 million.
And also, can I just draw attention to one thing on your list there? Leicester, right? Now, bear in mind that Leicester's on that list, and bear in mind how high that wage bill is. They've only just been promoted. So the fact that their wage bill is that are only just getting promoted, can you imagine what that was when they were a championship side competing with the other championship sides? That's a huge amount of money.
Absolute madness, isn't it? Absolute madness.
So yeah, I as I was saying before, I wouldn't want Arteta's job. And equally,
I've watched Sociedad too as well.
I personally think we are nipping at the heels of a club with untapped resources, right? Who have won the domestic quadruple, like they've won they've won the Premier League 4 years in a row, right?
Yeah. No,
and I was reading today that's very interesting. If they go down the road with City that they went down with Juventus, they're going to have all their trophies stripped off of them, which means technically we're going to end up winning 2 Premier League trophies because they will give it to us.
They won't do that.
They won't do it. But my point is, in the days before we started taking on this ethos of Arteta, if that had happened to City and they did get it stripped, it would have gone to Man United, it would have gone to Chelsea, it would have gone to Liverpool. We would have been in the running. No one would have thought about us.
Haven't even Tottenham got one?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, they're not going to award them to the other teams, so that's never going to happen. I still don't think they get done, to be honest.
I think I tell you what I think is going to happen, and this has got I just think this has got Arsenal written all over it. I personally think we're going to be 9 points behind them, and they're going to deduct them 10 points.
I mean, a lot of people won't take it that way, but I don't really give a crap.
I'd have it.
Yeah, whatever makes us lift that trophy, I don't really care. And people just gonna go, "Oh, you won it because they want the
No.
they lost 10 points."
I hate that mentality, and I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why I hate that mentality. If they hadn't have been so bloody corrupt and ended up getting
They
themselves,
wouldn't be there in the first place.
they wouldn't have been there in the first place. We've done everything right, and all we ever do is get slated for it.
No,
and you know what? All this stuff with the way refs treat us, the way the press treats us, is all because I was thinking about this yesterday. Why is it they hate us? The only thing I can put it down to is it was ages and ages ago, just before the 49 games unbeaten. After we won the double, they offered Wenger the England job. And didn't he say something like, I'm not a narcissist? Or he made a quote, there's a quote, I'm not a narcissist, something like that. We basically said, I'm not about to put myself in a position where everybody's got to come after me constantly, because it was the most hated job in English football. And from that point on, everybody was after him. Then they couldn't get him for anything because we went 49 games unbeaten. We won the league. The points we won the league on, Chelsea should have, with what the points they were on coming second, won the league, but they didn't because we were so outstanding, right? And that's why we've had this albatross on our backs that we're carrying around constantly. It's unfair.
It's bollocks. It's just crap. It really is. But there we go. Let's get through these, and then we can go on to the Arsenal game. So yeah, the Liverpool Forest game. I thought Salah was kind of he was invisible. He kind of turned into Mr. Invisible, and yeah, I don't think there was one player that was good in there for Liverpool at all, to be honest. And yeah, they're part of the bus, and they did the same thing we did, and they had a game plan, and they scored a decent goal, to be fair to them.
Can I just bring your attention to Omo? Is it Olmo in the chat? You played the dead Spurs team with no attacking threat, and what? and what? The bottom line is that's their problem, not ours. We just had to go out and do what we did, and that was win. So it doesn't. I mean, we've seen fantastic teams in the past get overdone. There you go, classic example. Nottingham Forest and Liverpool. Right? Yeah. No, there's no way they should have lost. Liverpool should have lost that game. It takes one bad game, and if Tottenham are dead, that's their problem. It's not ours.
Yeah. I don't know how that's an us problem, to be honest. You know, if we have a game plan and it works, then so be it. And what I'm also sick of is people going, "Oh, well, your job is to entertain." No, it's not. Our manager's job is to win the league, or to try and win the league and try and win trophies. And also, you always criticize him. You're all criticizing him that he's not going for trophies, that he's not doing this, he's not doing that, and he's not doing the other. But then you do this, and which is it? There's no winning. The problem is there's no winning. And the other thing is you can't celebrate anything. How dare a fan of a club that they support, they go home and away, or they just watch on the TV or buy all the merchandise for, why can't they celebrate? We're not telling you can't celebrate, but you're telling us we can't. Why is that? Just bitter.
I think as well that we need to start having a little bit of clarity with what's going on. The bottom line is we've seen some very, very, very entertaining football where we've lost the game. We've seen games where we've played on fire, but nothing's going in the net. I know from all the years I've been going to the Emirates and Highbury before that, I've seen that. You know that from every game that you've been. There has been some games you've walked out of that stadium frustrated as hell because
my head's blown off.
You don't think you sit in the pub afterwards and you go, they didn't play a bad game of football. What the hell happened?
Yeah.
You know, and then equally, you'll be sitting there going, We were shit tonight. How did we win 1-0?
Yeah, but I've been in the stadium with another manager not too long ago that was in blue that basically came to our place and he played for a 0-0. And you know what he did when he got that 0-0? He ran the full length of the pitch. He threw his arms up in the air and he celebrated like he just won the league.
Oh, can I just add, Omar, I'm not arguing with you, mate. I'm just saying, like, I don't care. Like, so please don't take offense to what I'm saying. I'm literally just saying I agree that they are a dead team, but you know, that's our job as a team to play out their weaknesses. My dad is the absolute biggest criticizer of Arteta, right? And even I nearly fell over yesterday because he turned around and said that was a masterclass from Arteta. He played every single one of our players perfectly against every single one of their players. And I think that's a fair thing to say.
Yeah. Kai, I wouldn't really argue with you that the title, you know, that we should have done better. But you can't look backwards at the end of the day. All you can do is put the mistakes right. So far this season, we've beaten Villa away, Spurs away, and we're going into a City game. So all we can do is improve on the previous season. And if that's not enough to win you the league, then I don't really see that you could do any more than that, to be honest with you.
I mean, let's look at it realistically, right? Let's compare season for season from last season to this one. We lost to Villa twice, right? We drew against we drew against Spurs at the beginning of the season, and then we beat them 3-2 at the end of the season. Even if City doesn't go our way this weekend, which I'll be totally honest, I don't think it's going to, right? But we have already come over one mental block. We've beaten Aston Villa. Aston Villa ruined our season last year. And let's be totally honest, it doesn't matter how many charges City
on their turf, by the way.
Yeah. It doesn't matter how many charges City have got against them. If we hadn't have screwed up that game at the Emirates, we would have a trophy now. We would do.
Yeah.
So no Arsenal fan is going to sit here and say anything different. I know. Look, I'll be very honest. I sat there in that Aston Villa game with tears running down my eyes because I couldn't believe I was not going to see my team win the league that year, and I couldn't believe I was sitting there watching them throw it away. Right. I can't even explain that any more than that. I mean, I will never call myself a fan, right? I call myself a supporter because to me, the word fan comes from the word fanatic. And I don't actually feel like I'm fanatical about Arsenal. I love them and support them. I try to be as positive as possible. Do I criticise them? Of course I do, because I'm human and I call them crap and everything else. Can't hit a barn door. I do it all. But I try to look on where are we now and where have we come from, right? I can't turn around and say, keep going on about the 49 games and keep going on about the doubles and all this stuff. It was a long time ago. Yeah. For me, a sobering thought, right? I've just been on that show with Sophie, Guna Gossip TV. Amazing girl. But one thing that was a very sobering thought was when we were having a chat, she's 20. She's never seen Arsenal win the league, right? A club with our standing, I wish I wasn't saying that. And I wish I was able to share that experience with her. We've got to win the league, but it doesn't mean that we've got to trash everything that Arteta's done because that's not fair.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was a big old rant and I never come up.
It was a bit of a rant. Yeah. But worth it.
I've got asthma. That was pretty impressive.
Okay. But it's too much paperwork to do it on stream. I won't do any paperwork. You have to do it yourself. I think you do all right at Old Trafford. I think you'll beat him, but I think he has to set up with the same sort of game plan. To be honest with you, because he just nulls the threat. Absolutely nulls the threat. You close the spaces and just kill him off at the end. They get to about 65 minutes and they drop the heads anyway, especially if you do score. Did I say that you just played a dead team? North what? And not much better, let's be honest. We're not much better? What do you mean we're not much better than Spurs? Are you serious?
Well, I've never worn a Man City shirt and sung Blue Moon on a stream. That's all I'm going to say.
I never will either. There were several strikers available, even Tony Dubrovic, Osman, Gyökeres, Isak Watkins. We don't know the budget. We don't know the state of the finances, mate, because we're not in the boardroom. We can sit here and go, well, we should have done this and we should have done that. Maybe he's just saving up for a big splurge in January. You just don't know. You don't know what the plan is. Probably more I can think of right now. What is? We're going for our third league title in a row, and all you can do is complain. I just don't understand. I just don't understand why. I used to be quite negative, and it's actually quite painful. Maybe try being a bit more positive, and maybe you'll feel better. I don't know.
Also, can I add? Right, this is gonna. I keep on saying it's going to sound weird. This is not going to sound weird. Actually, I'm going to stand by this conviction. Arsenal fans moaning about second, this, that, and the other. Blah, 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 blah. Tell you what, go sit down Maidstone United and watch them lose every single week. With their 8,000 capacity stadium, and how their fans are always cheering and smiling because they're there for the football. Shouldn't we be thinking about the football in all this? And don't give me the rubbish that it's different standards, different game. Any one of them lot that go and watch that game could decide to support a Premier League club because they want to see winning all the time. But they don't. They stick with their local club. So I actually think there's something to be said about just watching the football and just enjoying the football.
Albo, what if you don't slap them then? Okay. So you're better, you're worse than us and you're going to slap them. What if you don't? Villa played better than us. Brighton played better than us. Brighton didn't play better than us until we went down to 10 men, to be fair. Villa missed a couple of chances and our keeper kept us in the game, and then we went on and took the game. So they didn't play better than us, did they? Because our keeper had about 2 or 3 world-class saves, and then we went and scored 2 goals. So, yeah. We're going to struggle. Can't play this against City and other teams. As a Man United supporter, Man City will go undefeated this season. I bet you that striker is abnormal. I mean, he is abnormal, but it's a long old season. We're only on game week 4, so
he's also not had any European competitions this summer, so he's not tired like so many players.
Yeah, he spent his entire time on that training pitch, just making himself better.
Listen, I'm going to say one thing about this stuff about Man City getting better, and people are going to call me mad, right? I would rather Arsenal in the situation they are with our integrity intact than City being the way they are with a cloud hanging over them. Because I tell you something, nothing would make me support a club less than thinking my club had no integrity. And that goes for the reason why I'd never wear a City shirt if I was a Spurs fan, hoping that they were going to do my rivals over. So that's just me.
Also, I would say as well, if you know the mammoth that is Man City and how much budget they have and how much they can spend and how many players they get in and how many world-class players you are, how are you not proud that we're so close to them? From where we were, you're coming across very negative at the minute.
And let's face it, no one could catch Chelsea when they had Abramovich's money for ages. The fact that we've even been able to do that, and we're making Champions League football. People were complaining 4 seasons ago we weren't making Champions League football. We're now making Champions League football. People are still complaining about it. You're talking about cash injections and revenue, about how people won't buy merch because of all this stuff. Well, isn't that something? One year's amount of money from the Champions League was what we bought Declan Rice with. I mean, Jesus Christ, you saw on Sunday how our midfield was as fluid as anything. We missed him and Ødegaard. I mean.
And we had to set up differently because we didn't have him.
Oh, it's all good.
But Olmo, that's what we're saying. That's the mammoth that we're fighting, and we, it doesn't matter if you buy 10 strikers. If he's going to score hat tricks every game, doesn't make any difference, does it?
Can I just add to Olmo though? I was talking about Man United supporters today.
How much time does he? You've just explained yourself that we're fighting against City, and they're only going to get better. What do you not understand? What is so difficult to understand? Why are you complaining about this? I don't understand. We're not on the same level. We don't have the same budget that they're working from. And they might even have done it legitimately. I don't understand why you keep going in circles with this. Mate, it sounds like, to me, right? It sounds like you need another club. It sounds like you just need to get another club. Either you're trolling or you need to find another club. It's quite simple.
Can I just add something though? I will say.
There we go. Where we go. Hang on, one sec. Yeah. This is what I'm getting. This is the vibe I'm getting. How did Ante? Where was that team then? Where was the City team that is there today? Where was that then? Because it's not in the same position.
It's not even
as it was. Right. Okay. I'm just what's this? You have no attacking power like them under.
No, but I'll tell you what we did have. We had intelligent play. It doesn't always have to be striking play. Who scored our goal? A defender. Why? Because they were so busy with focusing on Ben White, they took their eyes off someone that's nearly 6 foot bloody behind them, who's good at headers and has won man of the match 3 North London derbies in a row. So, and you know what, mate? I'm a history teacher. What's that? Can't speak, can't lie. I deal in facts. And the fact is very simple. This man right there scored our goal. And at the end of the day, he's a defender. Set pieces that we're very, very good at. So I'm sorry. Tactically, we outdid them. Could we have beaten them? Would I have liked us to beat them more than 1-0? Of course I would. But it's not going to make no bloody difference at the end of the day because it's still 3 points.
Almo, nobody's saying that their players aren't a level above. Well, that's what we're saying, that to get so close to them in the first place is a mammoth task. That's literally what we're saying.
The sad thing is, I think that a lot of us here are actually agreeing, but it's coming round in a circle that doesn't.
Yeah, it's like we agreed, and then we've got something else that we've got to disagree with. So it just doesn't really make any sense.
You know what? That one you just put up there about some of the other YouTubers that would wear, that one. I can't speak for other YouTubers why they do things that they do. Sometimes they do it for clicks, they do it for shock, they do it to drama farm, whatever, right? But me personally,
I don't know who Abby Summers is.
She's a she does a lot of stuff with the AFTV guys when they have all the different clubs on. She's
is she the Tottenham fan?
She's the Tottenham girl.
Ah, right, okay, right. Yeah.
So
most of the time she talks sense, but a lot of the time she just makes crap up. But
so
I think
I can't speak for other fans, right? But for me, one of the reasons I could never do that is probably because I'm a bit of a daddy's girl. My dad would be so ashamed of me if I put on another club shirt and then started doing that, acting that way. He'd actually say to me, I didn't bring you up like that. I didn't take you to your first game when you were 6 for you to act like that. And that's and that would, you don't like when someone goes, I'm not mad, I'm disappointed. That's what that would do to me. I'd be like, oh my God, my dad's telling me off. So yeah. I don't know. It's just me, and it's just chat, isn't it?
Kai, you've just said yourself that City are only going to get better. So if they get the likes of Musiala and other top players next summer, isn't that just going to make the job even harder? Oh.
Also,
shut up, Almo. Shut up, Almo. What now?
No,
you've got to be trolling.
No, you're a troll.
Come on, man. Go away. Just go away. I'm not even. We're not even. we're not even wasting any more time on you because
That's 100% a troll.
It
Listen,
must be a troll.
I know Tottenham season ticket holders that tell me keep hold of that boy because he's the best you've got. So that's a shitty statement to make.
Because even Tony doesn't fit with the standards of the club, and obviously Arteta thought that it was going to be trouble in the dressing room, or he wasn't going to fit, or he's going to want everything around him, or whatever.
Ivan Toney at Arsenal, there's no way. He's another Aubameyang in the weight. The only difference is Aubameyang's was flash cars. This bloke will be betting every other day. There's no way. There's no way. I don't want any. That's why we didn't want Mudryk. That's why we weren't too keen on having Grealish. That's why we're not having Tony. They don't want that dressing room with one. They don't want that dressing room with one character that's going to turn the dressing room. That is not what Arsenal are about.
Yeah, absolutely not. But yeah, what's he on about now? He's right there. We'll only get player and signing and challenge will only get harder. You just what? We've literally said the same thing, Olmo. I don't know what you're talking about. We literally said the same thing. We know he's going to get better, but they're going to do that because they have an open checkbook. They can spend whatever they want, and we don't.
We think we're better than we are. I'm not being funny, but again, go back to the point. We don't have untapped resources, and we are biting at the heels of the biggest club in Europe. You tell me any other team in the Premier League, Man United included, that will want to rather be where we are than where they are, and that's the bottom line.
Yeah, you know? who wants to finish 8th?
And I know what Man United fans are going to say. We still won the FA Cup, whereas you didn't win anything.
Yeah, but the FA Cup doesn't mean anything when we win it.
You also. This summer, you actually said to your manager, we would sack you, but we can't find anyone else now. So do you want to stay till we can? And he said yes.
Yeah, right? We'll give you another contract because we can't find anybody to replace you.
So how do you think that Arsenal are going to be able to find someone to replace Arteta when we don't want anyone to replace Arteta? Oh, it's, you know.
It's just nonsense. It's just nonsense. I think I'm going to ignore the chat now, but there you go.
We've actually covered, to be fair, we've actually covered the Arsenal game, to be fair.
Yeah, I think in a roundabout sort of where we have. But yeah, I mean, we can. Yeah, they've kind of soaked up the time that we were going to do on a Premier League. But is there anything else you wanted to point out from the weekend fixtures of?
I really enjoyed. I have to say, I did actually really enjoy the Newcastle Wolves game. Right. So I've got a foster sister. I've spoken about her loads of times. She comes here all the time, right? At my house. She loves it here. And she was here for the football. And it's really funny. I'm up in my loft room. She was sitting up here with the Sky Go. I don't know if you ever watch it on Sky Go, but there's a delay. So we were all cheering. And then within about 10 seconds, she starts cheering up here because she couldn't hear us cheering down. I don't know, actually didn't hear us bloody cheering downstairs.
Yeah.
And we were shouting the house down. But she hates Wolves. Like, I can't even explain. This child has a deep hatred for Wolverhampton Wanderers, right?
Why?
I don't know, right? She will sing same old Wolves always cheating. I don't consider them a cheating. I don't know where it comes from, right? It's an obsession I haven't been able to crack. But we sat and watched the Wolves-Newcastle game together. Yeah. And she was so happy when Newcastle won. It was hilarious. Like, I mean, this kid hates them, right? I don't know why.
It is a bit mad. Yeah, I don't really understand the that kind of hatred not for Wolves anyway. I thought they were
yeah, I don't have a massive problem with Wolves.
Decent side, and that the goal that they scored as well was pretty decent, to be fair. And he did a bit of a dummy and then shot it through, so the defender was completely wrong-footed. But
to be fair, she loves Saka. She loves, like, that's her number one player. Like, she's got WhatsApp. You can update your status on WhatsApp. So
yeah.
So every day it's something she's got from his, And I think he might have been pulled over by a Wolves player once last season, and that was
right. Okay.
that was it. They were public enemy number one.
The public enemy number one.
Do you know what though? I don't consider them to be a really bad side
No,
against, to be fair. And
no,
I
I
think
wouldn't
they were
either.
unlucky yesterday, but it was a good. I thought it was a very good game.
Yeah, yeah. So that's a weird one. I wouldn't really class Wolves as
He's only 13 though, so you know
okay.
maybe that.
Even worse. I mean, how has she even got hold of anything that Wolves have done anything dodgy in that period of time? It's a bit weird.
I'm telling you, someone went after Saka's legs last season, and from now on, that's it. I'm telling you, that's it. She's like his number one fan. It's hilarious.
Okay. Indeed. Right, if you're in here, please make sure you're liking and subscribing to both our channels. You've got mine on the 40 corner and Isis as well, sing it in the North Bank. Yeah. So, did you want to look over the European games quickly?
We can do. I mean, the only thing I can really think of about the game coming up with Atalanta is what sort of team we're going to play, because my gut instinct is to keep the team we had at the weekend, possibly rest Saka, because I think that we need to be concentrating on the game at the weekend. I mean, I'm not holding any hope for the game of the weekend. I've made no secret of that. I'd like us to be able to, in the next 3 games, to walk away with a total of 7 points. That would be I'd be happy with that.
Yeah, me too.
I don't know. I mean, the thing is, it's all right everyone going on about the beast is Haaland. What happens if he gets injured? What happens when he eventually gets tired? What are they going to do? And it's all right saying they can rotate in other players, but they literally build their squad around him.
Well, they haven't got another striker anyway, have they? Because they've got they sold Alvarez anyway, so I don't think they have another striker anyway.
Not an out and out.
That's going to be the telling thing, isn't it? What they actually do if he gets injured, but that's if he gets injured, isn't it?
Yeah. And actually, I know this sounds really ridiculous because they're our rivals. I don't want someone to get a nasty injury just to hope that we're able to, get some.
No, I wouldn't mind him to take a knock before Sunday, though.
In training.
Yeah. I'll have a knock on Saturday, and he can come back Monday. I don't care. I'm all right with that.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm just.
I also wouldn't mind if you got an injury every Friday for the whole season and came back on a Monday, and then he can play in the Champions League games, and then he can not play on the weekend games.
Can Jack Grealish start taking him drinking?
I mean, yeah, take him in a wheelbarrow. I'm not sure he's strong enough to push the wheelbarrow, though, is he?
Probably not.
Just a bit of a mad one.
Yeah. So other than that, there's not really much else I can really say about.
I think what BX Gunner says there. I think that's what I want really, and I don't care how we do it. I just want to. I just want us to do our best, basically, put in the best performance we can, and yeah, if we end up winning, we end up winning. The form guide's never good at Etihad, though, is it?
Are you happy you haven't won a trophy in 5 years?
We're happy we haven't finished 8th, Alma.
Yeah. Can't really say much to that. Right.
Yeah, I think we've done enough with getting trolled by trolls.
I think we've done really well.
Yeah. I mean, I my head nearly blew off at one point. So yeah.
If we don't encourage anything else, we encourage open conversation.
Open conversation, yes, we go for open conversation. I think that any rational. I'm going to answer the question anyway, because I'm kind of like that. I like to be honest and not shirk a difficult question. Obviously, I would like to win something. I would like it to be the Premier League or the Champions League. If we go toe to toe with City again, and we end up 2 points off, and win an FA Cup, I would consider that a successful season. If we did that with the League Cup, would I consider that successful? Probably not.
I'd consider it a successful season if we won the FA Cup, because that's giving that back in our hands. That is our record. It's going to be a big morale booster. And the bottom line is, if City do win the league and we win the FA Cup, you know, bring on the Community Shield. I don't care. Do you know what? It's just about trying to keep it up, isn't it? It's about trying to keep it up. Kai, I don't actually think that you're trolling, to be totally
No, I don't think you're trolling either. I just think that the way that you judging standards, I think, is slightly extreme, let's say.
Can I just add? I mean, I don't know how old you are, Kai, and I wouldn't pry, but this is the
Well,
same.
he said he's seen cup doubles and cup winners' cups and whatever. So
yeah. So what I'm trying to say is that my brother and my brother's 11 years younger than me, so he's 31, and he has a very different outlook on how he sees us than I do. So I remember the days of Highbury. I remember when we didn't win much. I remember when the stadium was run down. I remember these things. My brother was a junior gunner during the 49 games unbeaten, and he went to every single game. He grew up. He was in his most impressionable years with Henry, Bergkamp, Pires, Overmars. You know, so to him, if Arsenal aren't that, Arsenal are shit, right?
This is the problem. The standards are different because it's a different. Exactly. There. So it's unrealistic standards because we signed Henry, because we signed Bergkamp, because we signed Overmars, because we signed Perez, because we signed all these players. We're not serious anymore because we don't sign them.
Yeah, and that's the argument.
Problem.
That's the argument I had with him for a long time. And actually, he's now starting to change because as he's got older, he's seen, a different, and he loves Arteta. But I do think there is a generational thing sometimes between Arsenal fans and but I argue with him more than I argue with some opposition supporters. I mean, my mum's had to physically tell us to shut up and sit down before because we've been going.
Yeah, exactly. But as I say, Kai, I'm not saying your opinion is wrong. I'm just saying that in today's game, I think the standards that you hold are objectively impossible to get to right now, at least. We might get there if we carry on going on the same trajectory for 10 years. But it's unrealistic to get to the point where we're the second year back into the Champions League football and to want to bring in all these top players that aren't going to come here.
And can I also add, Kai, I will not take this away from you. You turn up to a lot of streams and you have this conversation.
Yeah.
And I do actually think that you want a place to vent, and you've always got that here. And I do appreciate as well the fact that you do say everyone's entitled to their opinion. And I do also think that of you. But I do think that Sparks has got a point when he says there are some expectations. And the thing is, I'm guessing he and I are from the same generation, you and me. That we do remember the days before Henry and Bergkamp, and how same old Arsenal always cheating 1-0.
Yeah, absolutely, and the hate and that's where the hate come from. But at the end of the day, it's if Arteta took the cup seriously, right, and I agree with that to a point, but even last season, did we have the squad to go in four competitions? Because I don't think we did.
No, we didn't.
And I'm not even sure that we necessarily have it right now.
No, I think we need to concentrate on something and stick to it. And Omo's saying about we can't win the Champions League. The thing is, why I agree with you with that on stats, what you have to remember is you can get to the Champions League final by the big clubs knocking each other out. And then we've seen it happen in competitions before. Yeah. And at this stage in Arsenal's transition, I would take a domestic double over everything. And I would love a domestic double. Right. I do. I was queuing from 4:30 in the morning down Highbury Corner to see them parade with that bus. my brother was 9 and I was what? I was about 21, 22. And I tell you what, I remember that day, like you said, poor little sod was falling asleep on the pavement 4:30 in the morning. But we were there. And I want every fan to be able to see that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. What's that? You had the best defense season. You go out and buy another defender instead of a striker. That's going to be the downfall. I don't really agree with that, to be honest, because defense wins your leagues. So I think he's tried to outscore, and I think he's basically taken a different approach and gone, well, we're not going to outscore them, so maybe we outscore points them. Maybe that's a different approach. So I'm not saying that is what he's thinking, but I would also say as well that, you know, if you're thinking of a different manager than Arteta, who are you thinking? Because I don't know who comes in for him and actually does a better job.
Can I bring Kai's point up? Kai, I think that's the truest thing you have said all night. I will commend you for that. He's literally just put in there, if Arteta doesn't win the league and he won the cup double, I wouldn't get on his case too much. Right. I'll give you that because I've been the most critical with him, the way he actually almost discounts the cups, right? Honest to God, I think that was where he took his eye off the ball, pardon the pun, last season, right? And that was the one thing I was really, really angry about because I love winning the FA Cup. Some of my best memories are watching Arsenal winning the FA Cup. So, you know, but do you know, the first time my husband met my family when we were going out was on the FA Cup final against Chelsea. And he came round my parents' house and he said, can I ask you why the hell you've invited me round at this? I went, because just as Marilyn Monroe said, if you can't see me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best. Right? And he laughed. And luckily enough, we won. But there was definitely some very dodgy language that.
This is Sports Dogs. New subscriber. Welcome in. Nice to see you, sir. What's this? I'm 21 and Arsenal have never won a Champions League. Well, you've been around a really long time, haven't you? You probably, you know, we can only hope, can't we? But you haven't been around to see your club win it either.
Well, yeah. But
so
I didn't want to go there.
Yeah. Football goes in cycles. Absolutely. What's this? Do you agree that we have a better attacking players in you up front? If you don't think, you're very naive. Well, why ask if you already answered it for me? So, you know, again, you're just talking like a bit of nonsense. I think we got right. Okay. I'm not reading any more of your nonsense now. Thank you very much. We have a better squad. Do you really? So as Kai said, if you're taking any United players at Arsenal, who are you taking?
Mate, you would bite our hands off for Xhaka.
We're talking about United players to come to Arsenal. Who are you taking?
Sorry, I misread that, gentleman in the chat. I apologise. Who would I take from United? Rashford 5 years ago, probably.
I wouldn't mind Ugarte because I think that Ugarte is a decent signing, but I'm not taking anybody else. I've been watching Arsenal for 21 years. I'm more than that, mate.
My dad, you know what? My dad, someone said to my dad, how long has your daughter liked football? Right? Thinking that I was just, that I just liked my football. My dad very calmly turned around and went, you want my honest answer? And the guy went, yeah. And he went, since the sperm met the egg, that's when my daughter started supporting Arsenal.
Yeah, there you go.
And it's God's honest truth. I had a football kit on my back not long after my first baby grow. So I know that, and just so and I'm 41. I'm 42 next month. So a long bloody time.
Yeah, I mean, potentially.
Mainu, I'll give you that. Mainu.
Yeah, I'd probably take Mainu.
Yeah, I'd have
I'd probably
Mainu.
say Mainu. We got Ahmad. We don't need Saka. I think he's a good player, no doubt. Yeah, he's still got a lot of growing to do to get anywhere near Saka. I think you'll find. For me, no one. I think you've got to be honest with a couple of players. I'd definitely take Mainu, and potentially Ugarte. Agree. Actually, Spots forgot about Ugarte. Yeah. Take him, but no one else. Maybe Mainu. Yeah, I think so. I think they'd be my two as well. They'd be my two. I'm definitely not going anywhere near the keeper. I know that for a fact. My God, that guy couldn't catch a cold. Although he saved a penalty, and I don't know. Yeah, that's like the best thing he ever did. Yeah, it was a bit random.
I will say, Kai, I do like you because even though we have totally polar opposite ideas about our club at times, you are quite happy to turn around and have a conversation about differences of opinion and don't resort to calling names like some bloody idiots.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. What's this? BX Gunner 81 says, I discovered the joy of footy age at 24. Unfortunately, late to the party, but I've more than made up for it in lost time. Absolutely, mate.
I gave my husband tickets to the North London Derby last year because I had to do something with my dad. And it was like related to my grandmother who's got dementia. So my dad, he needed someone to go with him to do something. And my husband took his brother, right? And he came home and I went, what did you think? Because he does go to Arsenal, but he hasn't been to North London Derby for a long time. Yeah. And he went, bloody loud. I went, no shit, Sherlock. I mean, really? Really? He said, my watch was even telling me it was loud. I was like, all right.
Yeah, indeed.
He's a massive Arsenal fan. I just don't think he anticipated it was going to be as crazy as it was with the North London Derby.
Yeah, well, yeah. I was in a pub once. I went and basically, beat a game, and we basically come back and we're in the bar, and somebody said, "Oh yeah, it was really good atmosphere and whatever." And the landlord said, "Well, if you can't get up for that, you can't get up for anything." And I was like, oh, "All right, fair point." So yeah, Menu and Ugarte walks in, and Martinez. Martinez doesn't get him, mate. Doesn't even. Yeah, not even in the same postcode, mate.
Yeah, I don't like Martinez.
And Dallo, no, absolutely not. Gabriel, the king of Brazil. Indeed, Nathan. Welcome in, my friend. How are you? Guys, if you are in here, please make sure you're liking and subscribing and commenting on the YouTube channels. We've got both in there as well. Aisha's going to put hers in the comments as well, so it's easy to find once you go back out from the live.
I got in work today, and then 2 Spurs fans were there, and they were looking at me. 2 kids I teach, and they were looking at me like, "Don't you say anything, right?" And then I said, "I wasn't going to say anything." And
of course not.
And then they went, "Yeah, you were." And anyway, I went really quiet, and I went, "Oh dear, I can't get that out of my head." And then these kids went, "What?" I went, I've got this song going around in my head.
Song in my head.
And then they were going, "What is it?" I went, "You'll fall in love. I know you will. Number 6 is the king." And these kids were looking at me like, "I'm going to kill you, miss."
Good, Nathan. Thank you. Right. And are we there? I think we're about there, aren't we?
I think we're there.
Yeah. So I think we covered everything and had a bit of banter from the chat and such like as well. So
friendly fire.
Some entertainment from there as well. So yeah. We'll be back on Friday. We're going to do a preview for the weekend fixtures.
Do you see now how you get myself confused? I'm on one tomorrow night. I got Wednesday off. Then I'm one on Thursday night, and then I'm one on Friday night.
That's right.
You can't say this loft room design, this new thing I've done, isn't getting the workout, can you?
I think it looks really nice. It makes my puts my backdrop to shame. To be fair,
that £15 from Dunelm.
I've got an Arsenal Underground sign, but I've got nowhere to put it.
Oh, car. I've got my Emirates there and my Highbury over there, which I love. And that's a fridge magnet that I've just stuck with glue to the wallpaper. So
yeah, indeed. These streams should be more often. They will be. I mean, we need the following, obviously. But yeah, the more following we get, the more subscribers we get, then the more content we can do. It's obviously an issue because we need to get guests for the show. Guests go for the bigger attraction, not really the big attraction. Aisha's a bit more of a resident at the moment because she goes in every show. So, you know.
Do you know, I just love it because, like, at the end of the day, I get to talk about one of the things I bloody love the most. And I'm not, listen, my husband is so massively supportive because he goes, you crack on with your Arsenal mates and stop chewing my ear off about it. And it's totally fine. It's amazing. So I get to sit up here and talk to a load of Arsenal supporters.
Yeah, absolutely.
And enjoy myself.
Yeah, for sure. What's he saying now? You don't think Martinez gets in your squad? He's the best defender in the league. One of them. I'm not sure he makes top 10, mate. He might just about make top 10.
Joe, I just did a training session at work about AI. I'm wondering if we can prove this person's not AI. How would we do that?
I don't think we have to do that. We could just turn him off.
Okay, I've seen it.
Yeah. I keep dreaming, mate. Keep dreaming.
I've seen it all now.
You know, at the end of the day, mate.
Listen, even Kai's saying he's trolling.
Even Kai's saying you're trolling. So, yeah, I think on that note, I think we're going to bid you good night. If you're in the streams, please make sure you're liking, subscribing, commenting. Share the lives out. I'll put a post out as well with the clip-on videos. Please make sure you're liking and subscribing as well. And yeah, we'll see you on the next ones. I hope you have a great evening. Aisha, thank you very much for being on as usual.
No problem. Always happy.
And yeah, I've been Sparks. This has been Footy Corner, and we'll see you in the next one.